welcome everyone. My name is Janet. I am working through the King James's Bible and I'm in the book of Genesis, working through today chapters 43 to 45. So let's get straight into it. Why delay? Okay, our story starts in chapter 43 where the famine is still going on. So there's still a famine in the land surrounding Egypt. Egypt is the one with all of the wealth and has banked up all of this food, so everybody needs to get to Egypt in order to keep getting food. So Jacob says to his sons, as they've eaten all of the food that they first brought from Egypt, he says, you need to go back again because they've ran out. So he asks them to go again. And Judah says, look, Dad, we can't go because we have to take Benjamin with us and you wouldn't let us take him. So without him, we can't go. That's what the governor said. We do not show our faces there unless we have Benjamin with us. And his father is like, why did you tell him? Why? Why did you even mention your brother? And Judah says, well, because, he asked us outright. He asked us, do you have him? We just told him we didn't know it was going to happen where he was going to take one of us, put us in prison and then, do this. We weren't to know. So Jacob, or which the Lord often calls him, Israel, and in certain points in the story, just as a sideline, why I think he keeps mentioning Israel is when he's in more of a stronger role, then he refers in the Bible to him as Israel. So Israel says, well, okay, you can take your brother, but you need to take gifts. We can't just go with empty hand, and you need to take all of the silver as well that you found in your sacks. Take that back, plus more for more food. I want you to take some great fruits, balm, honey, spices, myrrh, nuts, and almonds. He pops them all in, and he sends the brothers with Benjamin with all of these goods in the hope. He prays as well for mercy to bring his son back, because this is a big ask, but they're starving, so he's sort of caught in between two really difficult situations. So off the brothers go, armed with all these goods, back towards Egypt with all of these gifts and their brother Benjamin. So they come forth towards Joseph, and when he sees Benjamin, he is just thrilled. So he says to his servants, great, now let us put on a feast, and we shall all eat at noon. Now the brothers are a bit like hesitant here. They're like, oh, this is too good to be true. We can't just, what's going on? So they start telling Joseph about the silver, and they say, look, we found this silver on the way back that we hadn't paid. We brought more to buy some food, and we brought you all these gifts. And Joseph says, fear not, you've been blessed by the Lord. And he brings forth their brother Simon out. And then he decides to get water for all of them, and they get their feet washed, and even their animals are watered. And they give all the gifts to Joseph, and they bow down to him, and they all eat this beautiful meal that has been prepared. And he asks them, is your father well? And they say, yes, he is well, he is in good health. And he said, is this your brother Benjamin? And he looks at Benjamin really close in the eyes while he's eating, and he just gets over emotional and just quickly leaves the place and goes into his chambers and has a real good cry. Then he pulls himself together, comes back out, and they all dine with everybody else, the Egyptians too, and the Hebrews, which is not the norm. It's not the way things were done back then. So they all have this lovely meal and drink and are joyful for that evening. So that wraps up chapter 43. And now we move on to chapter 44, where Joseph plays a trick on his brothers. So here we go. So as they've had this lovely meal, as we've just seen, the next day he gets all of his servants to fill up the brothers' sacks with as much food as possible, lots and lots of food, and they go for their journey back, and they get silver as well, and off they go. But just before they go, he tells one of the servants to put into Benjamin's sack a silver cup that is very special to him. And the servant does as he says, puts it in, and off the brothers go on their journey back to their father, Jacob. Now, as they've just gone out of sight, Joseph turns to his servants and he tells them, right, I want you to make chase, go back to the brothers and search all of their things, because there's a silver cup of mine that has been stolen. I want you to find it and bring it back. So they go and they run towards Joseph's brothers. They stop at them and they say, hey, stop. We have reason to believe that you have stolen from the governor. And they are like, what? No way. I mean, we just, when we came back to you, we told you that we'd found this silver and we brought that plus some. Why would we bother stealing a cup? This is ridiculous, Look, if you find anything on us, we'll become your slaves, because we know we have not stolen anything. So off the guards go and they search through all of the sacks. They don't find anything in all of the older brothers, but when they get to Benjamin's sack, there is the silver cup. And they're like, you are thieves, right? And they take them all back to Joseph. So when they arrive at Egypt, Joseph sees them and he is so angry. He pretends to be so angry at them for what they have done. You have stolen from me. And they're like, no, please, we did not steal from you. Please forgive us. We will be your slaves. We are so sorry. And they bow again down to him, begging for his forgiveness. And they give up their rights. They want to be slaves. And Joseph says, no, you will not all become slaves. Only the person that stole the silver cup will become my slave. So Benjamin, you are to become my slave, and the rest of you can go back home on your way. And then Judah, he's like, the older brother, he goes to Joseph, look, you can't do that. Take me, not Benjamin, because my father promised, he put trust in me to bring Benjamin back. It's his only special son. If I don't take him back, he is going to be so upset. He's going to die. I can't go back and see my father's face knowing I have not brought Benjamin back. Please, no, don't do it. And that very dramatic ending ends chapter 44. So, what is Joseph going to do? This is what happens in chapter 45. So Joseph can no longer sustain this pretense, He's like, I can't keep this deception going on any longer. And he just tells all of his servants, right, you all need to leave. And he stood with the brothers and he just cries and he says, I am Joseph. It's me, Joseph, your brother. And they're all shocked. They're just like, they don't have anything to say. They just can't believe what's going on. They don't really believe what he's saying is true. And he's crying so much, all of Pharaoh and the people hear him crying and they become aware that obviously it's his family that are there. It's not just somebody he doesn't know. And he says, is my father still alive? Is he really still alive? And the brothers are still in shock. They just can't believe. He says, come closer, look at me. I am your brother, Joseph. And as they're looking closer, he says, be not grieved. God put me here. You didn't do it. It wasn't you. I was meant to come here because look, I have become the governor of Egypt with the Lord's blessing. And it's because I am here to save us all, because we've had a famine for 2 years and there's going to be another 5 years of famine. And now I can provide for you all and for all your families. I want you now to move to the green, plentiful land of Goshen, which is close to me. I want you to be here with me, and I'm going to give you everything that you need and take care of you. Bring your flocks and your herds. Just bring everything. And Pharaoh hears about this and he's like so happy too. He's like, yes, let us, bring everyone, bring all of your family here. They have Egypt is theirs too now. Give them wagons and all of this stuff. And he said, go get your father, go get him. And Joseph says to Benjamin, go tell your father, I am Joseph, I am here. Tell him everything, and then bring him back to me. So the brothers all go back with all of these wagons and goods, and they get to see Jacob, and they say, Joseph, he's still alive. He's still alive, and he's the governor of Egypt. And Jacob's like, no way, what are you talking about? That's ridiculous. No, he's not. What on earth? And they were like, no, he is. He's alive. He is governor of Egypt, and he's brought all of these goods, and he's wanting us to go back to him. He wants to see you. He wants to embrace you. And Jacob is like, when he sees all the gifts from Egypt outside the wagons, he is just overjoyed. He's like, oh my goodness, my son is still alive, and I'm going to see him now before I die. And so they head off back to him, and that is the end of chapter 45. So it's such a lovely 3 chapters, these ones, it's kind of like that forgiving and getting back to the truth, and also just pure love, family love, from the heart, and forgiving the things that everything was as it was meant to be. We sometimes think that life is just against us all the time, but it's in these little things that you just don't realize that it was all working for you. Everything is working for you. It's there to work out. And I keep getting this every time I read these chapters. It's especially the last few. And it's just a beautiful thing to realize there's no need to worry, because life is always on our side. God is always there if you just tap into that source and know, if you do everything in this present moment to your utmost, highest and best, then everything's going to work out, and that's all we have. We have this present moment. So in the moment, do your best. Be your best self. Just, come alive. Be happy. Forgive. And just, who knows what's going to come into your life. Okay, thank you for listening. See you again soon with our next chapters in this book called Genesis. See you then. Bye.